All right, Mr. Shank here. I'm going to go through the lesson in your book today on the iPad. So I'm going to try recording my screen and we'll see how it goes. So this is the lesson on graphing ratio tables on page 47. For this, you're going to need your math book and a pencil, so make sure you have those two things. So the lesson is going to revolve around this right here, which is called a coordinate plane. This is formed when two perpendicular number lines intersect at their 0 points. This point is called the origin. The horizontal number line is called the x-axis, and the vertical number line is called the y-axis. An ordered pair, such as 2, 3, is a pair of numbers used to locate the point on the coordinate plane. So what I want you to try to do right now is fill out the blanks with the appropriate vocab words. So pause here, and then resume the video when you think you have it. Okay, so up on the top, this should be the coordinate plane. That just kind of titles what you see here. On the side, this arrow is pointing to the y-axis. That is the vertical one, which means it goes up and down. Right here, this arrow is pointing to the point 0, 0, make a little dot there, which is called the origin. So it's really important to know that the point 0, 0, we call the origin. It's kind of like where your graph starts. Okay, over on the right side, that is pointing to 5, 4, which is called an ordered pair. And then the last one is our x-axis. That's the horizontal. So a lot of people have tricks to remember, like y versus x. I always think the y-axis is vertical. Think about like a mountain, because there was a movie I remember. The movie was called Vertical Limit, and it was about a mountain. So I always remember, okay, vertical is a mountain, goes up and down. Okay, over on the y-axis, we think about that as horizontal, and people have ways to remember that as when you think about like the horizon. Here's the horizon. The sun sets or rises above the horizon. So that might be a way to remember. You think about, oh, this line here, this is my horizon, it's horizontal. Okay, so next, I want you to try reading this to yourself and see if you can fill out the ordered pair. So pause the video and resume once you have it. All right, so your ordered pair should be 3, 17. 3 was minutes and 17 is the yards. Okay, go to the next page. So when we graph ordered pairs, we're going to write these in a very particular way. We always put parentheses around the two numbers. If you don't do that, it's an ordered pair. Things in math that everyone knows, if there's parentheses around the number, it's an ordered pair. So this ordered pair is 3, 6. Make sure you put a comma in between. The first numbers are x coordinate, and the second numbers are y coordinate. So I'm going to go down to the first guided problem at the bottom. If you notice here, we have a table showing Gloria's earnings. So it counts up hours by 1, and she earns $5 an hour. So then it shows us the ordered pairs if we were to graph this. The 1 means 1 hour, 5 means $5. So to graph this, I go to the graph. Okay, the 1 is our x coordinate, so I go to the 1. And the y is our y coordinate, so I go up to 5, and I find that point and I put a dot. Okay, if you notice, the 1 is directly on the line, and then since there's no line for 5, I just have to estimate. Should be in between 4 and 6, and I put a dot. That first order pair is 1, 5. Okay, I look at my table. Next point is 2, 10, so I go over to 2 on the x-axis and up to 10 on the y. There should be a dot right there. And then my last point is over 3, up 15. Okay, a trick to help you graph, I want you guys to write this down, is my first coordinate, you can say to yourself over, because you're just going to go over to that number. So if I look at my first number, it was 1, I went over to 1. The second number, our y coordinate, you can say to yourself up. When I look at that first one, it was over 1, up 5. And I can say that to myself when I graph it to make sure I put them in the right order, so I'm not going like over 5, up 1, and mixing everything up. Okay, so there's our graph. One thing you should try doing is connecting the points with a straight line. So you typically are going to start at 0, 0 on these graphs and try to draw a straight line that goes through. If the line is not straight on these problems, you probably have a mistake. And at the end, you put a little arrow. Okay? If you need to pause the video because I'm going too fast, make sure you're doing that. Okay, last part says to describe the pattern in the graph. So basically what you're going to say is, like, what do you see in the graph? And we're going to say that the graph shows Gloria's earnings increase by $5 each hour. Okay, so we're going to go to the next page. I'm going to jump all the way to page 50. We're going to fill out problem number 1. So it says here 2 friends are each saving money in their banking accounts. Marcus saves $10 each week, and David saves $15 each week. So I want you to try to fill out the table. Pause the video right now and come back to it once you have it filled out. All right, so hopefully you're able to get the table filled out. I'm going to let you check here. For Marcus, he was earning $10 a week. So if you just kind of count it up by tens, because your weeks are counted up by 1, you'd have the right values there. On this column here, you had to write ordered pairs. So when you look at these, things you have to make sure you do is put parentheses around the ordered pair, and there has to be a comma in the middle. And we're just using the numbers right from the table. Okay, check David's. Here in $15 a week, so it's counting up by 15 under the total saved, and then there's our ordered pairs. Okay, the next part was to graph each friend on the same coordinate plane. So remember, something you can say to yourself would be, for that first value, it's over. Sorry, it's kind of sloppy. Second value is up. So when I look at my graph for Marcus, my first point is over 1, up 10. So as I go and do that, over 1, up 10, there's his dot there. Okay, and sorry if you're looking, both dots are on there. I'm going to make a blue line for Marcus's points. If you need to pause the video and try graphing, if you got the hang of it, go ahead and do that. So if you see here, Marcus's points, he's going to be red, I guess. And we'll do David as these blue points. Okay, you can put a little arrow at the top to show that these lines would continue. Okay, and your graph should look like that. Things to check would be that you have straight lines, because these people are earning their money at a constant rate, so the line should be straight. So the last part here says, well, how do the ratios of Marcus's savings and David's savings compare? How is that shown on the graph? So essentially it's asking, like, well, how can you tell who makes more money by looking at the graph? Something you always look for on a graph is the steeper line. Okay, when I think about steeper, I think about like a mountain. Okay, let's say I have a mountain that looks like this and a mountain that looks like that. And I asked you which one is steeper. Okay, the steeper mountain is the one you'd go faster down if you were to ski or snowboard down. Okay, and the steeper one is here. These sides of the mountain are a lot steeper. Okay, I know this mountain's taller, but that doesn't necessarily make it steeper. So when I look at my graph, steeper line,